Hey North Baseball, this is Coach O'Mara. Today we're going to be talking about pitchers backing up bases on balls hit to the outfield. I know it sounds kind of basic, but there's actually a lot of different things that I want to cover with it. And it's really important because bottom line, it saves runners going an extra 90 feet and keeps runs off the board. And that's our job as pitchers. So wanted to cover some things about that today. So first thing, I have just a still picture of a baseball field where the Sox play, guaranteed rate. My favorite place to go. But as you can see, it's just a good example of a general baseball field and where things are going to be happening. We can see all the positions, runners on base, all that stuff. So I'm going to be using my mouse, the arrow on the screen, to simulate where a ball is hit and then also the path that a pitcher should be taking to where they need to back up. So I just thought that would be the most useful to show where the ball's going and then where the pitcher needs to go in order to back up, as opposed to trying to find a bunch of videos that don't show it very well. So first things first, before we talk about situations individually, I want to talk about just a few basic things that apply to backing up bases in all instances. And the first is going to be, as a pitcher, you're obviously throwing the ball from the mound. When the ball's hit, you need to be sprinting straight to a spot, all right? You should never be a bystander. You always have a job to do, and that goes for everyone else on the field. So you are not special. Everyone has a job to do. So you need to be sprinting to a spot to back things up if the ball is not hit to you. So once you sprint to a spot, you need to get there, turn around, pick up the ball, find the play, and then your next job is to be a communicator. So you need to be yelling what's going on. You're talking to the guy you're backing up. You're talking about where maybe the throw should be going, but you need to be loud. You need to be explaining what's going on. You're a pitcher. That means you need to be a leader on the team. So you need to be talking about what you see and helping your teammates try and go the extra mile to possibly get you another out. Generally speaking, you need to be at least 20 to 30 feet behind whoever you're backing up. So if you're 10 feet behind whoever you're backing up and the ball gets past them, chances are it's probably getting past you too, because you either can't see it well enough because you're so close, or it's so far off, whether it's over or to one of the sides, that it's going to get past you too. So you need to make sure you give yourself plenty of room when you're backing up a position player who is hopefully receiving a throw from the outfield. So my goal as a pitcher would be 30 feet. That way you have enough space to hopefully not only read where the ball's coming and you're not having a position player in your way, but you are also able to move and also cover much more ground the farther back you are. So I'm shooting for 30 feet behind. That means if I'm backing up home plate, I am well beyond the dirt circle around home plate. I'm in the grass somewhere waiting for the ball to come to me. So after that, generally still applying it to all situations, we also need to know what to do when the ball gets overthrown. So if we are backing up and the ball gets to us, we have the ball, what do we do now? So you need to be catching the ball and listening to your teammates. They should be communicating with you what the runners are doing. So your first job is to secure that ball, and then you are listening to your teammates to hear what they have to say and what they're telling you to do with that ball. So you just need to be ready, catch that ball with two hands if at all possible. If it's coming in on the ground, knock it up, keep it in front of you, but then you are picking up that ball with your throwing hand and you are listening to your teammates and ready to throw if necessary. Obviously, you want to keep the runners from advancing a base, so if you can just hold the ball and get them back, that's fine with me. So now we're going to talk about a few different situations. All the things that I just talked about apply to pretty much every situation when you're backing up a base, but these are a few different scenarios we're going to be talking about. So last thing that applies to every situation, you need to make sure that you are always going to back up a base that is ahead of the runner. So if it's a ball hitting the gap and it's a clear double, like they're obviously not going to get him out at second base, you need to be backing up third base. You should always be a base ahead of where the runner is going, unless they're going home, obviously. So you need to make sure that you are thinking, be realistic. All right, that's an easy double. That means my outfielders and my infielders should be lining up to get a throw to third base to try and cut the runner off. We're not trying to throw behind the runner. So you need to make sure that you are backing up a base ahead of the runner. So clear double, you're backing up third. All right, so first situation I wanted to discuss was a hit with no one on to center, or like center, right field. All right, so no one on, it's a clear double. We get a ball, we throw it, it's hit, and it is getting into the gap in right center. So the ball's out here. It is a easy double, so we are seeing that hitter run to second base. You as a pitcher need to be running, sprinting to a spot over here, staying out of everyone's way. You're about 20 to 30 feet if you're almost on the warning track, and you are lining yourself up with whichever fielders are the cutoff for this, okay? So you're lining yourself up with third base and then your cutoff man that is getting the throw from the outfield here. So you need to be sprinting to a spot over here, turning around, picking up the ball, and then telling your third baseman what you're seeing, communicating. So you need to be lining up in case that throw gets past him. You are there. All right, similar situation, nobody on, and we get a ball hit in the left center gap or over the left fielder or center fielder's head, so it's in this area. Once again, you're throwing the ball, it's hit out this way. Nobody else is on, so this is a clear double at the least, so we need to be setting up a throw to third base in order to cut that runner off. So we get the ball out here. You are sprinting to a spot between third and home plate, and you are lining yourself up between the third baseman and your cutoff man who is receiving the throw from the outfield here. So you need to be in line with 4 people, our outfielder, our cutoff man, our third baseman, and then you, our pitcher. Once again, you should be communicating what you're seeing. We'll have other people doing that too, but that is your job. You are in your place, and now you are in a great position to see what is going on. You can always keep tabs on that runner as well if he's making a hard turn. If he's coasting in, you can let your third baseman know. All right, so those are basically no one on, and then we have an extra base hit. 2 other things that I want to cover are when we have people on base, okay? So obviously that's important as well. If we have a runner on second or third base and we are seeing an extra base hit, a clear extra base hit, your runner is likely going to score, regardless of how many outs there are. If we have an obvious extra base hit in the gap where it is not remotely close to a fielder and our runner is not tagging, he's going to score from second base. So there's really no point to backing up home plate, right? With that being said, you need to be focusing once again on the hitter. If this runner is going to score easy and there's not going to be a throw, you need to go where the throw is going to be. So once again, we're trying to cut that runner off, whether it's to right center, left center, whatever it may be. We're trying to get that ball to third base to cut the hitter off from going all the way to third. We want to stop him at second, limit the damage. So with that being said, once again, you know what's going on. You're running over here. You're lining yourself up with your cutoff men and your outfielders, and you are also keeping tabs on the runner. Make sure when you are running to back something up, you do not get in the previous base runner's way. So if you have a runner on second and he's rounding on an extra base hit, you need to make sure you stay out of the way. All right. The last situation I want to discuss is a double with a guy on first base. We have a runner on first base and less than 2 outs, and it's a clear extra base hit. He is not freezing. He's running. He knows it's going to drop. You need to be keeping an eye on our lead runner, because just because it's an extra base hit, we have a guy on first, doesn't mean he's scoring. Hopefully our outfielders can get to it. We can hit our relays and we can keep him from scoring, and you have a chance to get out of the inning without any runs still. With that being the case, we will need to back up home plate. The way you should be backing up home plate, if the ball is hit to the left side of the field, so left field over here, you need to be running on the first base side to back up the catcher. So you are out of the catcher's line of view, you are out of the way, and then you're also out of the way of a potential base runner. If a ball is hit to the right side of the field in our right center gap, you need to run to the third base line. So once again, you are out of the catcher's line of view. So whatever way it is hit in the field, if it's hit to left field, you're going to the right side of the plate, first base. If it's hit to right field, you're going to the left side of the plate, or third base. So you're staying out of the catcher's way. You are running to a spot and rounding, so you are behind the catcher. And then you are, once again, kind of telling the catcher what's going on. If you see anything, we should have a first baseman lining up over here for the cut. If we see a throw coming from right field and we are shooting for home, left field, vice versa, we should have a third baseman lining up here for a potential throw to home, and you are over here. Remember, we need to be 20 to 30 feet back. We need to be communicating. We need to know what to do on an overthrow. We need to sprint to a spot. This is not something that can be done slowly. You have to be quick. You have to be running. Because if you are not there, you are costing your team extra runs and extra base runners. You need to do your job. So that is kind of a brief overview of some backing up of bases when you are a pitcher. The bottom lines, besides our sprinting, besides our communicating, and then besides our 20 to 30 feet, are going to be always knowing what the situations are. So we are trying to cut runners off. We are trying to throw ahead of the runner, never behind. So that means you need to line up accordingly. So once again, doubles with nobody on. We should be lining up with third base with our cutoff men and everything, and we should be backing up third base. When we have a runner on in scoring position and we have a clear extra base hit, we are likely going to be lining up behind our third base to once again cut off that runner and concede the run. If we are not going to throw home, we shouldn't be there. We should be backing up the base to cut off the next runner to try and save some big situations later on. And then if we have a guy on first base and we have a clear extra base hit, we are going to be backing up home plate, and we should be looking to cross over whatever side the opposite of where the ball is hit. And then finally, if you do not know what to do and you're backing up third or home, so if you're not quite sure what's going on, run to the middle of the third baseline, run far enough back so you have your 20 to 30 feet, turn around and read the situation. So react to what's being said by the catcher or any of our other fielders. And if you see the throw coming into third, you can move from your spot in the middle to behind third. If you see it coming home or you hear people talking that the throw's coming home, you can adjust and run behind home. So bottom line, even if you're not quite sure what to do, you still have a job and you still have a way to be prepared for whatever is going to happen next. All right, so I hope you learned a little bit about backing up and how important that can be. We need to be practicing that and thinking about that. If we see reruns of games during the pandemic, we need to be watching for that and see if we can pick up on anything. Always be anticipating, and then that'll make us a better team and save us some runs on the mound.